Yes, my comment is they need to leave, and they need to leave right now. They need to leave because this is unacceptable.
That is the mayor of Los Angeles, Karen Bass. Moments earlier, in the grand Trump administration tradition of absurd theater, a battalion of federal agents in full tactical gear, including a dozen on horseback, descended on MacArthur Park. They were armed with rifles, military-style Humvees, and a stupefying absence of reason. Hello, everybody. David Shuster here. I said the stated purpose was a raid, but the result was a spectacle clearly intended to terrify low-income Latino residents, appease the right-wing haters, and perhaps furnish a few juicy images for Donald Trump. What transpired was not so much a law enforcement operation as a grotesque carnival of federal overreach. Soldiers swept a soccer field, ICE agents strutted with the gravity of tyrants, and somewhere in the dust, a group of children, yes, children, playing in the park as part of a day camp were hurried away. Mayor Karen Bass, to her credit, confronted the ICE jackboots with righteous fury, and she demanded to know who was in charge, at which point one agent handed her his phone, ostensibly connected to the ICE boss.
Getting ready to leave? Okay, please, can you leave ASAP? What is the mission?
Later, Bass held a news conference.
To me, this is another example of the administration ratcheting up chaos by deploying what looked like a military operation in an American city. So I went to MacArthur Park because it is very important that the truth be told about what happened there. Now, you can spin it any way you like, but in my opinion, it's a political agenda of provoking fear and terror. Frankly, it is outrageous and un-American.
The park is a community hub for the largely Latino population that lives nearby. ICE officials insisted the park had been taken over by members of the MS-13 gang. Not on this day.
Who were in the park today were children. It was their summer camp, their summer day camp.
Members of the LA City Council described the Trump ICE operation as political theater. Precisely. The kind of theater in which the state flexes its muscle against the most vulnerable, not to preserve order, but to appease MAGA extremists and perhaps distract from a real crisis like the flooding disaster and deaths in Texas and the reports that the Trump administration weather forecasting cuts made the death toll worse. Regardless, make no mistake, MacArthur Park was not raided in the name of law. It was raided in the name of optics and power. A top Trump administration border official said as much.
El Centro Border Patrol Chief Gregory Bovino told Fox News, "I don't work for Karen Bass. Better get used to us now because this is going to be normal very soon. We will go anywhere, anytime we want in Los Angeles."
In other words, the Border Patrol is going to stage an invasion of parks, lakes, and other community areas whenever and wherever it strikes the fancy of the Trump administration. And herein lies the danger. This was not an aberration. It was a message. The United States has long held a strange affection for shows of force, especially when aimed downward. But even by American standards, what happened at MacArthur Park is a masterstroke of cowardice. The boot of the Trump administration pressing down on the powerless for no reason but showmanship. No criminals were apprehended, but the damage was done. Children were terrorized, families were shaken, and the machinery of fear turned yet again. Also, the Trump-led GOP could remind poor immigrants that the government sees them not as neighbors or workers, but as useful props. We cannot allow this nonsense to go unchallenged. To be clear, the American people deserve safety, but not this kind. Not safety scripted by demagogues and performed by men with tactical gear, assault rifles, horses, and military vehicles in a public park. All of us deserve better than a government that trades in shadows and calls it security. We are owed more than a spectacle. Sadly, the Trump administration threw out basic decency and respect months ago. Instead, Trump and his party have embraced authoritarianism, hypocrisy, and a total lack of self-awareness.
The Democrats and these socialists like Mondami, I mean, they're crazy. They're insane. It's like they've forgotten who they represent. They spend all their time trying to help actual criminals, not get arrested or get out of jail.
The Democrats spend all their time helping criminals not get arrested or get out of jail. Donald Trump was convicted of 34 felony charges. He was literally a convicted felon who Republicans helped not get jailed. Trump was also found by a judge in a civilian lawsuit to be an adjudicated rapist. But Democrats, with their decency towards migrants and their opposition of military invasions of public parks, the Democrats are the real threats, according to Trump and his goons? Amazing. Kudos to Democratic leaders in California who are speaking out. They are doing so strongly, and their voices need to be joined by all of us. By the way, the MAGA Christianity scam has now been exposed in Texas.
You have concerns about National Weather Service staffing.
Those are issues that will be addressed by DHS and NOAA and other components as they move forward. Now is not the day for that type of conversation. I would encourage the congressman to be wrapping his arms and his heart and his prayers around these families.
Franklin Graham and I had a call and a prayer and shared some scriptures with families at a church that were still waiting to find their loved ones, and spent some time visiting with them and talking to them about this difficult situation.
All I know to do is to lean on God, to lean on prayer, to lean on family, to lean on friends. God is a good and loving God.
What would Jesus do about a tax system that benefits the rich over the poor? What would Jesus do about a healthcare system that forces the sick to start GoFundMe pages to afford life-saving surgeries? What would Jesus do about an education system that ties a child's school funding to their community's property wealth? What would Jesus do about a justice system that incarcerates more people than any other country on the face of the earth? And what would Jesus do about an economic system that prioritizes profits over the health of our planet? Would he stay in his room and pray? Or would he walk into the seat of power and flip over the tables of injustice? We Christians are called to do more than charity. We are called to challenge the systems that make charity necessary.
Check out that video at the link below. It generated a lot of comments on YouTube. One of the most popular is from Glover, who wrote, "Texas is literally hell on earth." I hear you. I look forward to reading your comments about ICE agents in Los Angeles staging an invasion of a public park. I'm David Shuster. Thanks for joining us.